Hi. So I really enjoyed these books and just really, I really dug into them. My notes. So I wrote notes in here, but I also wrote notes on a Google Doc. So I'm just gonna read what I wrote. But it was such an insightful book, and I think there's a lot to learn from each book. Page 39. That was like a portion. So, obviously, different leadership styles and different quotes and different things to learn from each leader. So, the number one, we're making 4 points in this video. So, I'm going to talk about the nature of leadership, virtue and morality in leadership, the role of power, and then the role of fortune. Because I think those 4 were a very big, just topic. There we go. I could not think of the word. So Machiavelli, and we're going to talk about the nature of leadership right now. So for Machiavelli, leadership is a practical affair. He advocates for rulers to be flexible. He wants to adapt to the change of the needs in that time. So in their times, they just adapted to whatever came up. A ruler should be willing to employ manipulation and even cruelty when necessary to secure power. And then Machiavelli is more concerned with the outcomes of leadership than with the means by which those outcomes are achieved. But in Erasmus, his nature of leadership was quite different. It was kind of like a more Christian-based, very Christian-based, actually. So Erasmus emphasizes a moral and virtuous approach to leadership. And I remember in page 5, it talks about how a king should be wise. Let me look at my notes in here as well, because I just worded it differently on here. So a king should be wise, uses self-control, someone who's prepared, and then has a heart for the people. So Erasmus emphasizes a moral and virtuous approach to leadership. So he argues that a prince should rule with justice and humility. For leadership, for Erasmus, he is not about power for power's sake, but about promoting the welfare of people. Like, his heart was genuinely for people, and with that, it came through wisdom and Christian virtue. So the second topic I wanted to talk about was virtue and morality in leadership. I know we discussed that in just the nature of leadership, that both of them apply, but they're very different. So Machiavelli suggests that traditional virtues such as generosity or kindness may not always, be useful in maintaining power. So instead, a prince must be willing to act immorally if the situation demands it. He famously asserts that it is better for a ruler to be feared than loved if he cannot be both. And he says that multiple times in his book. Or not multiple times, but he says that in the book as well. Erasmus, he believes that virtues like compassion, justice, and wisdom are essential for a good ruler. They're very different in their virtues. One is a bad kind of social power, and then a good kind of social power. Using their power for good, and then one's not using their power for good. So, like I said, for Erasmus, compassion, justice, and wisdom are essential for a good ruler. A prince, according to Erasmus, should embody Christian virtues and act in a way that benefits his subjects and basically promotes peace and justice, which he views as the true measure of leadership. when I was definitely reading through these, it was just like, I mean, even if you go to what page was it? I can't find that page. Okay, so in page 17, there was one of these notes that no, it wasn't that. I can't remember. I cannot find it. I forgot to highlight because there was this specific quote that kind of went in Machiavelli and how he was talking about maintaining power and how he asserted himself to be different than Erasmus. So the next thing I wanted to talk about as the role of power. So Machiavelli, power in his eyes is central to leadership. Or wait, no. Yeah, power is the main, it's his main focus. I guess I just worded that differently. Power is Machiavelli's main focus. He believes that maintaining power is the ultimate goal for any ruler, and that a leader should do whatever is necessary to secure and preserve this power, even if it means deceiving or manipulating others. Erasmus, on the other hand, sees power as a tool to be used for the good of the people, and I think we've already discussed that. So a prince should not seek power for its own sake, but should use his authority to maintain peace and justice, and we talk about that in page 5 of Erasmus, the Christian Prince. I mean, it's in the title, A Christian Prince. So, the role of fortune. This one I definitely got a lot out of. So Machiavelli places significant importance on the concept of fortune, which he sees as a force that can either help or hinder a ruler. He argues that while fortune plays a role in the success of a ruler, it is a skill that allows the leader to seize and maintain power, even in the face of adverse circumstances. Erasmus, he acknowledges fortune, but emphasizes a role of the importance of moral character and overcoming misfortune. So even for the unfortunate and the misfortunate, they still have value. But in Machiavelli's eyes, those less fortunate didn't matter. And that's a big difference. How you treat your people is such a big difference. You have low fame, you have low money, you don't matter. But in Erasmus' eyes, they mattered. It wasn't the fact that they had it, it was the fact that they were good people. And that mattered the most to him. He believes that a ruler who leads virtuously will be supported by God, and that means a good leader's success is not solely reliant on fortune, but on guidance of virtue and the Lord, or some people would say divine favor. So that was the 4 that I got, and I'm so sorry this video was long, but there was a lot of information to talk about. So yeah, have a good night.